So one state is calling in the National Guard. Another state is declaring a state of emergency. And other states, according to reports, are on the verge of declaring a state of emergency as well and potentially calling in the National Guard. So a lot of issues happening right now in the United States. I will break that down in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So there's a lot of stories that we need to uncover today. One of which is this one. The National Guard will be deployed in New York City in their subways in order to crack down on crime. We're already seeing the National Guard. They were going through the subways in New York City, carrying weapons. Some of them carrying long rifles. Well, Kathy Hochul, she has actually said that they are banning long rifles. So they are not going to be carrying rifles in the subway. They will still have weapons though. The reason for this is because the increase in crime, the increase in assaults, in thefts. That's the reason why. Well, why? Why would we see all of a sudden an increase in crime? Well, it has to do with the influx of people that are entering into the United States. And this is why many states are on the verge of declaring a state of emergency. Because they say that New York is one of the furthest states away from the crisis, which is the U.S. southern border. What about California, Arizona, and Texas? Those 3 states are seeing the most people enter into their state, and they are feeling the effects of it more than Illinois and New York. But it's not going to stop. You know why? It's not going to stop because, according to President Biden, he says he is not going to take executive action to secure the border. He wants Congress to find a fix. You know why? It's pretty simple. There's an election this year. The Biden administration doesn't want to come out and take any type of executive action, because if they do and it doesn't work, everybody will say, you did it. You caused this. Your actions did not work. It's your fault. Even though he did take executive action and he did cause this crisis, but that was 3 years ago. And according to reports, the Biden administration is hoping the American people forgot. Guess what? Republicans will not let them forget. But you know what they're trying to do at this point? Well, the Biden administration has more options. Here's what he wants to do. He's proposing a budget that includes $4.7 billion for an emergency fund for border migrant surges. Okay? Here's the reason why this is interesting. Congress has already refused a $13.6 billion bill that the Biden administration wanted earlier on this year. They refused this because they said it wouldn't work. It's not enough funding, and the proposal, the policies in it, would not work. So you know what they're asking for? They're asking for about a quarter of what they originally wanted. Because originally they were wanting about $20 billion. Then they started talking about $13.6 billion, now down to $4.7 billion to address the border crisis. That's a huge, huge issue. I want to show you something else. Because as all this is happening, according to experts, they're concerned that California is about to be hit. And the reason why California could be hit with all these migrants moving over to the west is because what California has been proposing. California wants to include migrants in every bill that they pass. For instance, they're now offering, as of January 1st, 2024, you can now get free health care if you are a low-income illegal immigrant. I don't know many illegal immigrants that are making $1 billion. We're making $1 million, to say the least. So most of them are going to be lower income. That's just statistically, that's what's going to happen. But here's another one. It says a California bill would extend legal aid to illegal immigrants convicted of violent felonies. Look at this right here. I want to read you this one. It says a bill introduced in the California State Assembly would extend taxpayer-funded legal aid to illegal immigrants convicted of violent or serious felonies, with the Democratic lawmaker who introduced it saying it would be a step forward for racial justice. says the Representation, Equity, and Protections REP for All Immigrations Act would remove restrictions on grant funds to provide immigration-related legal services to those convicted of violent or serious felonies. Now, that's interesting. It would also be about 45. The funds would come from the One California program, which is about $45 million per year fund. And the big thing here is we are going to give people that are potentially felons, that have been convicted of violent crimes and felonies, we're going to give them some taxpayer dollars. How does that make sense? That's what some are asking. But according to experts, they say their worry is that this is going to cause immigrants with convictions to flock to California seeking legal aid. So if you get convicted in New York, guess what? Come to California, be a resident of California, and you may get some legal aid. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. You think it gets worse? You think it gets better? Well, here's the issue. And this is a big, big issue. The Louisiana governor, he declares a state of emergency due to police shortage. Did you know that in most states we have a police shortage? And a lot of this stems from what has gone on in the past handful of years. And so over the past, 6-7 years, something like that, we've had a lot of issues where police officers have decided to leave the force. During the whole pandemic, where some cities, some states, were requiring police officers to go and get the vaccine. Well, some of them didn't go and do it, so they were let go. Because of the new policies and stuff, now, some police officers don't want to return back, and they've gone on and taken other positions. So, in many states, we are about to see a state of emergency. Louisiana was just the first one. But according to experts, other states are going to fall. And I addressed this just the other day, and I told you that Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they actually have their police officers as they're part-time, because between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there's nobody there. If you call somebody on the phone, guess what? It's going to go and it will be pretty much rerouted, and you will be pretty much leaving a message for somebody to call you back at 7 a.m. when they get back into the office. Yeah, they're treating the police station like it's a business, not there for personal security. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now is the National Guard is being called into New York because of this increase in migrants and the increase in thefts and crime. But it's not just New York City that's facing this. New York, Miami, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Seattle, Portland. Those are just to name a few cities that are feeling the effects, and some say they're on the verge of declaring a national emergency. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.